The night sky over Haven, was quiet, but inside the small repair garage at the edge of the colony, everything was shaking. Tools were falling, metal shelves were rattling, and the lights blinked as something big landed outside. Ethan Cole dropped the wrench in his hand and looked at the shaking door. He was alone. No customers, no friends, no soldiers. Just him, and whatever had arrived. He slowly stepped toward the garage entrance. His boots echoed on the metal floor. Please, he whispered to himself, not another pirate ship, not tonight. But when the doors slid open, what he saw was nothing like pirates. It was a girl. A girl glowing faint purple under the moonlight. Her skin looked smooth like crystal. Her hair was long, silver purple, shining like cold light. She walked carefully, her hands reaching forward like she was trying to feel the air. Ethan froze. She looked lost. She looked fragile. And she looked like she had no idea she was standing in front of a human man who was staring at her in complete shock. Then she spoke, soft, warm, innocent. Hello. Is someone there? I cannot see you. Ethan blinked. You're blind. She nodded gently. Yes. I use echo sense. But this place is loud. Too much metal. Too much noise. I cannot understand the shapes. She took a step forward and almost hit a toolbox. Ethan rushed and gently held her wrist before she tripped. Careful, he said softly. She paused, surprised. Oh, your hand is warm. Ethan swallowed, his heart beating faster. This alien girl wasn't dangerous. She wasn't armed. She wasn't even confident. She was innocent, almost childlike. My name is Lyra, she said. Her face had no fear. Only trust. Ethan stepped back, unsure. He was a mechanic, not a hero. He fixed engines, not aliens. What are you doing here? He asked. My ship crashed, she replied. My brother, he is not here. I think he left me. Her voice cracked at the edge, like she was trying not to cry. And that broke something inside Ethan. He didn't understand why. Maybe it was her soft voice. Maybe it was the loneliness in her posture. Maybe it was the way she stood quietly like the whole universe had abandoned her. But Ethan felt something he hadn't felt in a long time, a pull. A need to protect someone. Come, he said, guiding her inside. You're shivering. Sit here. Lyra walked slowly, trusting his guidance completely. She sat on a small stool, her glowing skin making the dark garage brighter. Ethan grabbed a blanket and placed it around her shoulders. She touched the fabric curiously. It is warm. Thank you. He nodded, then realized she couldn't see him nod. You're welcome. For a moment, there was silence. Then Lyra tilted her head. You are human. Yes. Yes. You sound kind. She smiled softly. My brother always told me humans were ugly. But your voice is gentle. Ethan laughed nervously. Your brother doesn't like humans. No. He said humans only want to hurt others. She touched her own chest. But I do not think that is true. Ethan looked at her glowing purple hands. She didn't stop smiling. She didn't stop trusting. She was the purest thing he had seen in years. But then. Boom. A loud blast shook the entire garage. Ethan jumped to his feet. What was that? Lyra gasped. They found me. Who? Ethan asked. My brother's guardians, she whispered. If they find me with a human, they will punish you. And they will take me. Ethan's jaw tightened. Why punish me? Her voice trembled. Because. I am promised. I must be married for alliance. I must follow the rules. I must not choose for myself. Ethan stared at her. Married? Forced? She was so young, so innocent. What if you don't want to? He asked. I never wanted, she said. But I cannot see. They think I am weak. They think I must obey. The blast outside grew louder. Ethan had only seconds to decide. Should he hide her? Should he send her away? Should he run? But then she reached out, searching blindly for his hand. When she touched him, she whispered. Please, don't let them take me. The fear in her voice cut straight into his chest. Ethan grabbed her hand firmly. You're safe with me. Another explosion. The ground cracked. A glowing ship descended outside, shaking the whole colony. Sharp, metallic footsteps approached the garage. Lyra froze. They are here. Ethan locked the garage door, his heart pounding. Ethan, she whispered, sensing his fear. If they see me with you, they will ask the question. The important question. What question? She swallowed hard. They will say. Human, will you marry my blind sister? If you say no, they will kill you. If you say yes, they will take you away from your world forever. Ethan stared at her in disbelief. What kind of rule is that? It is our tradition, she whispered. A way to decide trust. Do you want that? Ethan asked. Lyra hesitated. Then she said 3 quiet words that froze his blood. I trust you. The garage door exploded. Armored aliens stepped inside, glowing eyes scanning the room. Their leader pointed at Ethan and shouted. Human. Do you dare stand beside my blind sister? Answer our tradition now. Ethan's pulse slammed in his ears. Lyra squeezed his hand, trembling. Everything went silent. He had 1 second to reply. 1 second to change both their lives forever. The smoke from the broken garage door floated through the air as Ethan stood frozen, his hand still holding Lyra's. The aliens who entered were tall, armored, and glowing with the same soft purple light Lyra had, but theirs was colder, harder, like a warning. Their eyes moved sharply, scanning the room, scanning the human man who dared stand beside one of their own. The leader stepped forward. His armor looked heavier than the others. His chest plate was marked with strange symbols. His voice was deep, loud, and full of authority. Human, he said. You stand too close to my sister. Tradition demands an answer. Lyra squeezed Ethan's hand gently. He could feel her trembling. She lifted her chin, even though she could not see the danger in front of her. Brother, please, she whispered. Silence, Lyra, the leader growled. This human has touched you. You are unmarried. Our law is clear. He must choose. Ethan's heart was beating so fast he could barely breathe. He looked around the garage. The aliens blocked every exit. Their weapons glowed with bright white energy. If he ran, he would be dead in seconds. The leader raised one hand. Human Ethan Cole, he declared. Do you accept the sacred bond? Do you agree to protect her with your life? Do you agree to marry my blind sister? Ethan felt Lyra's hand tighten again. She was scared, but she wasn't pulling away from him. She was holding on. He took a breath. I don't even know her, he said quietly. Lyra lowered her face, hurt. The alien guards watched Ethan like hunters waiting for their prey to move. The leader's eyes narrowed. Then you refuse? Ethan glanced at Lyra. Her glowing skin, her gentle voice, the trust she gave him without hesitation, he had never met anyone like her. But he was still confused, still overwhelmed. I'm not saying no, Ethan said quickly. I just want to understand. The leader growled softly. Understand later. Answer now. Ethan had seconds. He looked at Lyra. She turned her face toward his voice. You helped me, she whispered. You were kind. I feel safe with you. Her simple words hit him harder than any weapon. Ethan took a slow breath. And then he said the one word that changed everything. Yes. The entire room froze. The alien soldiers stiffened. Lyra gasped softly, her lips parting in surprise. Her brother lowered his weapon and stepped closer to Ethan, staring into his eyes with a look that was half anger, half respect. Then the bond begins, he said. But before Ethan could react, two soldiers grabbed his arms. He tried to pull back. Hey! What are you doing? Lyra reached out blindly. No. Don't touch him. This is our law, her brother said. A marriage cannot begin without the test. Ethan struggled. What test? But the aliens didn't answer. They dragged him outside the garage and into the cold night. The ground shook under their heavy boots. Lyra followed, tears on her glowing cheeks. Ethan! Ethan, are you there? I'm here, he shouted back. One soldier pushed Ethan to his knees. Another placed a metallic ring around his wrist. The metal tightened on its own, glowing bright blue. What is this? Ethan yelled. Lyra's brother walked in front of him. It is the trial of worth. If you pass, you may stay with her. If you fail, he paused. You die. Ethan stared at him, shocked. That's your idea of a wedding test? The brother didn't smile. It is our way. The metal ring on Ethan's wrist suddenly activated. A loud humming filled the air. Ethan gritted his teeth as a pulse of energy shot through his arm and into his chest. He fell forward, groaning. Lyra let out a cry. Stop. Please. He helped me. He is not like others. But her brother only watched Ethan with cold judgment. This is not about kindness, he said. This is about strength. Ethan struggled to breathe as another energy shock hit him. His muscles shook. His vision blurred. He heard Lyra's voice again, breaking with fear. Ethan. I'm sorry. I didn't want this. He forced himself to lift his head. It's okay. Lyra, the brother stepped closer. Human. You accepted the bond. So prove you can protect her. Stand up. Ethan tried. His legs felt like stone. The energy pulses were getting stronger. His heart pounded painfully. But slowly, shaking, he pushed himself onto his feet. Lyra gasped in amazement. You stood, even with no sight, I can feel your strength. Her brother watched silently, eyes narrowing. Another shock of energy hit Ethan. This one was brutal. He crashed to the ground again, face first into the dirt. Enough. Lyra screamed. Her body glowed bright purple, brighter than the stars. She stepped forward, stumbling, reaching out blindly. If he dies, she said, voice trembling with emotion, then I will refuse every marriage. I will refuse every law. I will refuse your power. Her brother froze. The soldiers stepped back. Never in their lives had they heard a blind girl speak like that. Her voice was soft, but it carried a fire none of them expected. Ethan lifted his head weakly. Lyra, don't. But she continued, her glowing aura spreading across the ground. If he dies by your test, she said, then I will choose exile. I will leave our world forever. Her brother stared at her, shocked. He lowered his weapon slowly. Lyra, you would abandon your family? Your people? She nodded. I will not marry someone who wants control. I will choose someone who cares. Someone who helps. Someone who does not fear my blindness. The soldiers looked at Ethan, still alive, still fighting to stand. Her brother finally spoke. "Human. You pass." Ethan collapsed again, breathing hard. Lyra ran forward, finding him by touching his arm. "I'm here," she whispered. "I'm here." Ethan smiled weakly. "You okay?" She nodded. "Because you chose me." Her brother looked at them both, and for the first time, his expression softened. "The bond will continue," he said. "But the danger is not over. Others will come. Those who do not accept a human in our family." Ethan frowned. "What does that mean?" The brother looked at the stars. "It means," he said, "this was only the beginning." The night was colder than before. Ethan could feel the wind cutting across his skin as he sat on the ground, trying to breathe normally again. His body was still shaking from the trial of Worth, every part of him aching like he had been hit by a truck. Lyra knelt beside him, her hands moving gently over his face as she tried to understand his injuries through touch. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I didn't know they would test you like that." Ethan gave her a weak smile. "It's okay. I'm alive." His voice was rough, but honest. Her fingers touched his wrist where the metal ring had burned the skin. She gasped softly and pulled her hand back, like the pain belonged to her instead of him. "Your people are intense," Ethan said, trying to joke. But Lyra didn't laugh. She lowered her face. "They think I am weak because I cannot see. They want to choose my life for me. They think I must be controlled." She trembled, and Ethan gently held her shoulders, steadying her. "You're not weak," he told her softly. "You're stronger than you think." Her brother watched them, arms crossed, eyes tight but thoughtful. The other soldiers stood silently behind him, weapons dimmed. Ethan looked at the leader. "So, what happens now?" The brother stepped forward. "We must return to our ship before the hunters arrive." Ethan frowned. "The hunters?" The brother didn't answer right away. Instead, he scanned the sky, his expression heavy with worry. Lyra suddenly tensed. "I heard them earlier," she said. Their ships were far, but moving fast. Ethan looked between them, confused but alert. "Who are they?" The brother finally spoke. "They are the ones who destroyed half my clan. They are the ones who want Lyra for her gifts. They are the ones who believe blind ones should be taken." Ethan's stomach dropped. "Taken?" he repeated. The brother nodded. "Yes. They see value in her ability. Her echo sense is rare. She can feel movements before they happen. She can hear emotions, almost as if they are sounds. They want to use her for war." Ethan's eyes widened. "That's sick." "It is our reality," the brother replied. "That is why she must marry. To protect her." Ethan looked at Lyra. She sat in silence, her glowing eyes empty but full of quiet pain. He gently touched her hand. "Lyra, did they try to take you before?" A tear rolled down her cheek. "Yes." Ethan closed his eyes, feeling anger spark inside his chest. The brother turned away. "We must leave before they arrive." But just as he said that, the sky lit up with 3 burning streaks. The ground trembled. Lyra gasped. "They're here." Ethan felt a cold wave of fear run through him. "What do we do?" The brother activated his armored gauntlet. A holographic map appeared in the air. The hunters track energy. They will sense Lyra. We must hide her. A loud, metallic roar echoed across the valley. The hunter ships landed just beyond the garage, crushing trees beneath their weight. Lyra's breath trembled. "Ethan. I'm scared." He grabbed her hand. "I won't let them touch you." The brother stepped closer, tightening his grip on his weapon. "You spoke a brave promise, human. Now you must prove it." Ethan looked at him sharply. Wasn't the trial enough? No, the brother said. This is real life. Real danger. If you fail now, she is lost forever. Ethan swallowed hard. What do you want me to do? Before the brother could answer, the garage behind them exploded in a burst of black energy. The shockwave knocked Ethan and Lyra off their feet. Ethan rolled on the ground, coughing, but immediately reached for Lyra. He found her hand and pulled her close. I'm here, he whispered. Voices echoed through the smoke. Deep, metallic, cruel. Where is the blind one? Find her. Bring her alive. Ethan held Lyra tighter. The brother and his soldiers formed a protective circle around them. Purple shields activated around their arms. A hunter stepped out of the smoke. He was massive, taller than any alien Ethan had ever imagined. His armor was black, alive with flowing red veins. His face was hidden behind a mask shaped like a skull. His voice was cold. Give me the girl. The brother stood firm. You will not touch my sister. The hunter tilted his head. She is ours. You failed to guard her. We take what is useful. Ethan clenched his fists. She's a person, not a tool. The hunter slowly shifted his attention to Ethan. A human, he said with disgust. Weak. Blind with eyes. Ethan stepped forward, anger overriding fear. Say what you want. You're not taking her. The hunter looked amused. And you will stop me? Ethan felt Lyra reach for him blindly. He held her hand, squeezing it gently. Yes, he said. I will. The hunter raised a hand. Black energy gathered around his fingers. Lyra gasped. Ethan. The brother lunged and blocked the attack with his shield, sending sparks across the ground. The battle exploded around them. Purple energy collided with black beams. Soldiers fell. The earth cracked. Screams filled the night. Ethan pulled Lyra behind a broken metal crate. Stay down. She shook her head. No. I can help. I can feel their movements. Ethan stared at her. What do you mean? She lifted her hand slightly, her glowing skin brightening. I can hear where the attacks will land. I can guide you. Ethan hesitated, then nodded. Okay. Tell me what to do. Lyra took a deep breath. Left, now. Ethan ducked as a beam of energy shot over his head. Forward, she said quickly. He moved. A hunter soldier appeared from the smoke, surprised to see him. Ethan grabbed a metal pipe from the ground and swung it with all his strength, knocking the attacker back. Lyra's voice guided him again. Right. Behind you. Jump. Ethan moved like he was part of her echo sense. Every command was perfect. Every danger was predicted before it happened. Ethan, she whispered, you are doing it. You are protecting me. He smiled breathlessly. We're doing it together. But the peace lasted only seconds. The main hunter, the skull-faced leader, stepped forward, furious. His voice thundered. Enough. The girl comes with me. Lyra trembled. Ethan stepped in front of her, shaking but ready. Over my dead body, he said. The hunter smiled behind his mask. That can be arranged. The brother rushed toward them, shouting. Ethan. Lyra. Run now. The hunter lifted his hand, gathering a blast strong enough to kill them both. Lyra screamed. Ethan pulled her close. And then, the entire valley shook as something massive appeared in the sky ripped open with a huge roar. Ethan held Lyra tightly as they both looked up. Ethan looked up, and Lyra only lifted her face toward the sound, sensing the shockwaves in the air. A giant ship appeared above them, glowing bright white with sharp blue lines running down its sides. It was larger than both the alien and hunter ships combined, shaped like a floating spear of light. Ethan blinked. What is that? Lyra's brother stared upward with deep fear. No, not them. Ethan turned. Them? Who is them? Before the brother could answer, the sky ship fired a beam straight at the valley. The beam didn't explode on impact, it cracked the air like glass. Space itself seemed to shift and vibrate. Everything around them trembled. Lyra gasped, her glowing fingers pressing against her ears. Their sound, it hurts, it hurts. Ethan pulled her into his chest. It's okay. I've got you. The hunter soldiers stopped fighting. Even they seemed afraid. Their leader, the skull-faced hunter, slowly turned his masked face toward the sky. They arrived, he growled softly. The Watchers. Ethan felt cold fear sink into his bones. First Lyra's people, then the hunters, and now these Watchers. How many groups wanted this innocent blind girl? Lyra's brother gave a command to his soldiers. Form a defensive circle around Lyra and the human. But before they could, the Watcher ship opened from the bottom, revealing 3 floating figures. They had long silver bodies, no legs, and their faces were covered by smooth helmets without eyes. They moved like ghosts, floating down without sound. Ethan whispered, "What are they? Angels?" Lyra's brother shook his head darkly. No. They are the oldest race. They do not fight with honor. They take what they want. Ethan felt Lyra tighten her hold on his arm. Ethan, their sound. I hear inside my head. They are calling me. Calling you for what? To test me, she whispered. To see if I belong to them. Ethan's jaw clenched. No. You belong with me. One of the Watchers landed gently on the broken ground, its body hovering inches above the surface. The air around it hummed. It tilted its head toward Lyra, though it had no eyes. In a soft voice that seemed to echo inside their minds, it spoke. Blind one, come. Lyra flinched and shook her head. No, no, stay away. The hunter leader stepped forward. She is ours. You will not touch her. The Watcher raised a single hand. A wave of invisible force blasted across the ground, throwing the hunter leader like a ragdoll. He crashed into a rock wall and collapsed. Ethan's heart dropped. Lyra, we need to move. Lyra shook her head suddenly. No, the Watchers don't search for eyes or power. They search for truth. Ethan frowned. Truth? She nodded weakly. They can tell if someone's heart is pure, or dark. The Watcher turned to Ethan. You touched her. You protected her. You accepted her. Ethan swallowed hard. Yeah. I did. You faced death without running, the Watcher whispered into his mind. Why? Ethan stood tall, even as fear crawled inside him. Because she didn't deserve any of this. Because she trusted me when she didn't even know me. Because she's good. Lyra felt around, touching Ethan's arm, her voice trembling. He is kind. He is brave. He is not like others. The Watcher turned its helmet toward her. You speak with innocence. You speak with truth. But truth is tested. Always. The Watcher lifted both hands. A glowing white circle appeared around Ethan and Lyra, rising from the ground like a cage of light. Ethan held Lyra close. What are you doing? The Watcher answered. We begin the binding test. Lyra's brother shouted from behind a rock where he had landed. No. Watchers cannot judge our bonds. It is forbidden. But the Watchers ignored him. The cage of light brightened. Ethan felt a heavy pressure pushing against his chest, like the air was becoming solid. He gasped, fighting to breathe. Lyra cried out. Ethan. Ethan, what's happening? Ethan gritted his teeth and pulled her closer. I'm here. It's okay. It is not okay, the Watcher's voice echoed. If your heart fails the test, you will be erased. Ethan's mind spun. Erased? What does that mean? You will not die, the Watcher said calmly. You will simply, no longer exist. Lyra screamed, reaching blindly for Ethan's face. No. Don't take him. The Watcher spoke again. Show your truth, human. Do you protect her for duty, or desire? Ethan's eyes filled with tears, not from fear, but from the pain of the pressure. I protect her, because she deserves someone who won't leave her behind. Because she's been hurt, and I can't let that happen again. Because, she matters. The pressure increased. His vision blurred. Lyra sobbed, holding his face tightly. Don't go, stay. The Watcher paused. A slow hum passed through the cage of light. Then, a whisper. Truth confirmed. The cage vanished instantly. Ethan collapsed to the ground, coughing, gasping for air. Lyra fell beside him, her hands frantically touching his face. Ethan. Ethan, are you alive? He took her hands gently. Yes. I'm alive. A strange silence filled the valley. The Watcher bowed its head. The bond is pure. The girl must not be taken by the hunters, nor by her own clan. Lyra's brother stared in shock. You mean, she stays with the human? Yes, the Watcher replied. She is safest with him. The hunter leader struggled to stand. This is not finished. The Watcher raised its hand and unleashed a pulse wave. Every hunter soldier was thrown back. Their ship flickered violently, systems failing. Ethan stood slowly, holding Lyra. What now? He asked. The Watcher looked at him, no eyes, yet somehow seeing everything. Now, it said, the real danger begins. The cavern shook as if a giant creature had punched the underground walls. Dust rained from the ceiling, and the glowing fungus flickered like weak stars. Eli grabbed Lysa's arm and pulled her close. Her breathing was sharp, confused, but she trusted him instantly. She leaned toward him, blind yet steady. What is happening? She whispered, her voice trembling. Eli didn't answer right away. He was staring at the far opening of the cavern. The shadows were moving. And they were moving fast. Heron stepped in front of them, raising the cracked alien blade that he carried. This is bad, he muttered. Really bad. His voice was unusually serious, no jokes, no complaining, no sarcasm. Eli felt fear crawl up his spine. When Heron stopped talking, things were truly dangerous. The shadows stretched, long and twisted, and then something stepped into the dim light. Its body was tall, thin like broken metal wire. Its arms were too long, its fingers sharp enough to cut stone. Its head bent sideways as if its neck had been twisted. A pair of glowing white dots served as eyes, cold, empty, hungry. Lysa gasped softly and clutched Eli's sleeve. I feel it, its presence. It's hateful. Eli took a breath. It's a herald, he said quietly. A corrupted guardian. I've only read about them, but they're real. The creature hissed, a sound like rust scraping bone. The guardians of Eloria, the ancient protectors, had once been noble and beautiful. But some had fallen to darkness when the planet collapsed long ago. They became twisted spirits trapped in their own bodies, hunting anything alive. And now one stood between them and escape. Heron whispered, we can maybe fight one. Maybe. But the ground shook earlier, that means there may be more. Eli felt Lysa's grip tighten. I do not want to be a burden, she said softly. If I slow you down, leave me. No, Eli said sharply. Never. You're the reason we're here. I'm not leaving you. She froze, surprised, and then her cheeks warmed with a shy redness. The Herod moved first. It lunged with terrifying speed. Heron barely blocked the claw with his alien blade. Sparks exploded. He slid backward, boots scraping the stone floor. "Run!" Heron shouted. Eli wrapped his arm around Lysa and sprinted down the tunnel. She followed his movements perfectly, trusting each step he guided. Behind them, the sound of metal and bone clashing echoed violently. Heron was buying them time, but for how long? The tunnel split into two paths. Eli pushed Lysa gently left. "This way," he said. "How do you know?" she asked, breathless. "I just do," he answered, though he didn't mention the faint, warm pulse in his chest. Ever since Avera, the bonding device, had connected him and Lysa, he had begun to sense things. Small things. Directions. Emotion. Danger. But now the sense grew stronger, like something was calling them. The path widened into a different part of the cavern. Strange pillars rose from the floor, each filled with faint blue crystal veins. Lysa stopped suddenly. She touched one gently. These remember something," she whispered. "They hold echoes. Memories of my people." Eli watched her carefully. "Is this safe?" "No," Lysa said softly. "But I think it is important." She placed her palm on the crystal. Light spread through the pillar, then through all the others, hundreds of them. The cavern glowed bright blue. Eli stared in awe. "Lysa, what are you doing?" She breathed slowly. "Opening the past." The crystals vibrated. Images formed in the air, holograms made of shimmering dust. Eli saw her people, the Elorians, walking peacefully on their home world, before the collapse. He saw guardians standing watch like gentle giants. He saw Lysa as a little girl, laughing, playing, safe. Then the images changed. The war. The corruption. The guardians breaking. The Herod were born. Eli swallowed hard. "Your people, they suffered so much." "Yes," she whispered. "And the Herod still hunt because they are trapped between life and death. If we escape, they will follow. Unless." She stopped. "Unless what?" Eli asked. "Unless I give them what they want," she said quietly. "A pure host. A living mind they can consume to end their torment." She turned toward him slowly. "They want me." Eli felt the air freeze. "No. You're not giving yourself to them. We'll find another way." Lysa lowered her head. "Eli, you don't understand. Sometimes sacrifice, no," he shouted. The cavern echoed with his voice. "I won't let you. I didn't come all this way to lose you." Her eyes softened even though they couldn't see him. "Eli, why do you care so much?" He hesitated, then stepped closer, his voice low. "Because you're not a burden. You're not a curse. You're not a sacrifice. You're important. To your people. To Heron. And to me." Her breath caught. Before she could answer, the cavern behind them exploded. Heron stumbled in, bleeding, panting, barely standing. "They're coming," he growled. "Not 1, 3. Eli swore under his breath. "We can't fight 3 Herod." "No," Heron said, "but we can run." The ground trembled as the twisted creatures crawled through the broken opening. Their claws screeched against stone. Their empty eyes fixed on Lysa as if she was a glowing beacon they could taste. Lysa stepped back, terrified. "They are drawn to the bond. To me." Eli grabbed her shoulders. "Then we use it. They want you." He swallowed, scared but determined. "Then we make them chase us, straight into a trap." Heron looked at him like he was insane. "Eli, what trap?" We're underground. Not a physical trap, Eli said. A power trap. He held Lysa's hand. And for the first time, the bond flared, bright enough for Heron to see it. Lysa gasped. Eli, your mind, it's touching mine. He squeezed her hand. Good. Because I need you to trust me. The Herod crept closer, their claws clicking. The crystals glowed brighter. And in that moment, Eli felt it, the planet was not dead. It was sleeping. Waiting. And through Lysa, through the bond, it was listening. Lysa, he whispered, we're going to wake the core. Her lips parted in shock. Eli, if we do that, everything will change. Then let's change everything. Behind them, the Herod screamed. And Eli ran, pulling Lysa into the heart of the glowing caverns, toward the ancient power that might save them, or destroy them all. Eli ran with Lysa's hand tightly in his, pulling her toward the deeper tunnels. Behind them, the Herod screeched in hunger, their claws dragging across the stone floor. Each sound felt like a knife against Eli's ears. Heron stumbled beside them, badly injured, but refusing to slow down. The air grew warmer the further they went, and a faint orange glow appeared ahead, like fire trapped underground. Lysa's breathing was fast, frightened, but she did not resist. Eli, where are you taking me? She asked. To the core chamber, he said, though he wasn't sure how he knew the direction. The knowledge came through the bond, like whispers in his mind, memories from Lysa's ancestors guiding him. It's the only place we can turn the tide. Lysa said nothing, but he felt her trust through the bond, a soft warmth brushing his thoughts. They reached a long stone bridge hanging over a deep fiery pit. Rivers of molten light ran below, glowing like the veins of a living creature. The bridge stretched toward a massive doorway carved with ancient Elorian symbols. Heron groaned. Great. A death bridge. Fantastic. Any chance this planet has one normal hallway? Just one. But the moment he stepped onto the bridge, it vibrated. Lysa froze. The Guardians feel us. They are waking. Eli swallowed. Let's move. They ran across the bridge, but halfway through, the stone cracked violently. A Herod creature leaped from the shadows, landing behind them. It stood tall, skeletal, with glowing cracks across its chest. It screamed, a horrible, broken cry, before charging. Heron pushed Eli and Lysa forward. Go. I'll hold it. No. Eli shouted, turning back. You can't fight that alone. But Heron grinned, blood dripping from his forehead. Kid. I'm not fighting to win. I'm fighting to stall. He pointed his blade at the creature. Now move. Eli pulled Lysa, but she resisted. Heron will die. If we stay, we all die. Eli shouted, dragging her forward. The bond pulsed in pain from Lysa's fear, but she followed. Heron clashed with the Herod, sparks flying as blade met claw. The creature overpowered him quickly, knocking him onto his back. Its claws rose above Heron's chest. No. Lysa cried. And suddenly, a burst of light exploded from her body, pure, bright, and warm. It struck the Herod, throwing it sideways. The creature screeched in agony, its corrupted form trembling. Eli stared at Lysa in shock. You did that? She shook, terrified of her own power. I felt its hate, and I pushed back. Heron rolled over, panting. I'm alive. Ha! Remind me to stay on your good side, princess. Come on. Eli shouted. They reached the giant doorway. As they approached, the doors opened on their own with a deep rumbling sound. Heat washed over them. They stepped inside and froze. The core chamber was enormous, like the inside of a glowing planet. Energy rivers flowed along the walls. And in the center floated a giant crystal sphere, rotating slowly, pulsing with orange and blue light. Chains of energy connected it to the ground and ceiling like glowing roots. It felt alive. And angry. Lysa stepped forward, trembling. This is the heart of Eloria. The place where all life and power met. It remembers our people. Behind them, the herald screeched. More were coming. Eli grabbed her shoulder. What do we do? How does this help us? Lysa shook her head. The heart is not a weapon. It gives life, not destruction. But the herald want to kill everything. Eli said. We need something that stops them. She placed her hand over her chest, where the bond pulsed brightly. Eli, there is something. But it's dangerous. What is it? He asked. The bond. You and I, together, can speak to the heart with one voice. It will listen, because the Avera, our bond, was designed for unity. For power shared by two spirits. Eli understood immediately. We ask the heart to help us. No, Lysa shook her head slowly. We offer it something. His stomach twisted. Offer what? Our minds, she whispered. Our thoughts. Our souls. The heart needs a living conduit to unleash its full power. You mean, Eli swallowed hard. We become part of it? Lysa nodded, her face pale. If we join with the heart, even for a moment, we may not come back. Heron, still limping, raised a hand. Okay, new idea, let's not merge with the glowing alien death orb. Eli turned to Lysa. Is there any other way? No, she said softly. This planet is broken, Eli. Only the heart can purify the corruption inside the herald. If we help it, they will be freed, from pain, from hunger, from darkness. The herald will finally rest. But the heart cannot act alone. The herald entered the chamber. All three. Their bodies twisted, broken, almost begging for release. Their white eyes locked onto Lysa. Eli took her hand. If we do this, will you die? I don't know, she whispered. Maybe. He felt his chest tighten. He had come here to protect her. Not to lose her. But she squeezed his hand. Eli. I would rather give my life to save others, than let more suffering continue. He felt tears burn his eyes. You don't get to decide that alone. Lysa lifted her face toward his voice. Then decide with me. The herald screamed and charged. Eli grabbed her shoulders. Lysa, listen to me. If we die, it will all be for nothing. We need another way. There isn't. Yes, he said firmly. There is. He placed both hands on her face gently. We use the bond. But not to sacrifice ourselves. We guide the heart. We show it what we want. But. Lysa, it's our bond. Not a weapon. Not a curse. A connection. The heart responds to connection. So we give it the strongest one we have. For a moment, she said nothing. Then tears fell silently down her cheeks. Eli. I'm scared. Me too, he whispered. But I'm with you. Completely. Together, they turned toward the heart. The energy sphere pulsed in response to their presence. The herald roared, charging closer. Eli and Lysa joined hands. And the bond exploded with blinding light. It surged into the heart. The heart ignited, flooding the chamber with power. The herald screamed, not in hunger, but in release. Their twisted forms began to crack, their corruption burning away like ash in fire. Eli felt his mind stretch, felt Lysa inside his thoughts, their fears, their hopes, their memories mixing. Their spirits touched, blended, strengthened. The heart grew brighter. And then everything went white, the white light faded slowly, like fog drifting away after a long night. Eli gasped for breath as he opened his eyes. For a moment he thought he was floating in the sky, weightless and warm, but then he realized he was lying on the stone floor of the core chamber. The air felt different, softer, calmer, almost gentle. He blinked several times, trying to gather his thoughts. The giant heart above him was quiet now. No violent shaking. No roaring heat. It pulsed with a steady, peaceful blue glow, as if it had taken a deep breath after centuries of pain. Eli pushed himself up, panic rushing through him. Lysa. Lysa. He looked around wildly until he saw her lying a few feet away. She was still. Too still. He scrambled to her side, heart pounding. Lysa. Hey, stay with me. Her hand twitched. Eli felt a wave of relief crash over him. He gently lifted her head onto his lap. Her breathing was weak but steady. When she finally opened her eyes, her beautiful, bright, blind eyes, a small smile touched her lips. "You're here," she whispered. He let out a shaky breath. "Of course I'm here. You scared the life out of me." She lifted her hand and touched his face gently, her fingers tracing his cheek. The heart listened. "It hurt us." Eli nodded. "Yeah. It did." He turned his head toward the three harrowed. They were no longer twisted monsters. Their bodies were whole again, normal, peaceful. Their faces calm. They looked like sleeping people who had been released from a nightmare that lasted too long. It was heartbreaking and beautiful at the same time. Heron limped closer from where he had collapsed. "Well. I guess we won." He leaned against a wall, exhausted. "For once, I'd like to do a mission where we don't almost die, but, good job, kids." Eli laughed weakly. "You're alive. The world is full of miracles today." Heron smirked. "Thank the princess. She's the real hero." Lysa shook her head softly. "We did it together." Eli squeezed her hand. "Yeah. Together." But the moment of peace didn't last long. A low rumble echoed through the chamber. The heart flickered, dimming. Cracks formed along the floor and walls, spreading quickly. Heron's eyes widened. "Tell me that's normal." Lysa's voice softened with fear. "The heart is stabilizing the planet. The process is painful. It will cause tremors until everything balances again." Eli frowned. "How long will the tremors last?" She hesitated. "Hours, maybe days." The chamber shook again, harder this time. Heron swore loudly. "We need to leave. Now." Eli helped Lysa stand. Her legs trembled, but she leaned into him, letting him support her. They hurried toward the doorway as the ground cracked behind them. By the time they reached the bridge, flames burst from the molten pit below like angry waves. The bridge was falling apart. Eli looked at Lysa. She tilted her head slightly, sensing the danger through vibrations in the air. But she stood firm. "We can cross." Slowly. Heron rolled his eyes. "Fast. We cross fast. Very fast." They ran. Stones broke behind them, falling into the fiery pit. Heat blasted against their faces. Lysa stumbled once, but Eli caught her arm immediately. "I've got you," he said. "I know," she whispered. When they finally reached solid ground, the bridge completely collapsed behind them with a thunderous explosion. The three of them stared at the empty space where the path once stood. Heron exhaled. "Okay, that was dramatic even for me." They pushed forward through the tunnels, following the paths they came from. The rumbling grew weaker with each step. By the time they reached the surface, the sky was no longer red. The clouds had shifted to pink and blue like the world was healing. The air smelled cleaner. Brighter. Alive. Lysa stood silently for a moment, tilting her face toward the warm breeze. "I can feel it," she whispered. "The planet, it's awake again." Eli watched her with awe. Even without sight, she looked more aware of the world than anyone he had ever met. "What happens now?" he asked. She touched her chest where the bond pulsed faintly. "The heart is still connected to me. And to you. It may stay this way, forever." Eli felt her emotions through the bond: fear, hope, uncertainty. And something else. Something warm. "We'll handle it," he said softly. "Together." Lysa smiled shyly. "I would, like that." Before Eli could respond, a soft beep sounded from Heron's wrist device. He raised it to his ear. "This is Heron. Mission completed. Planet stabilized. The kids are alive, somehow." He paused, listening. Yeah, send a ship. And maybe a medic for me. I think I broke every bone I own." Eli laughed. For the first time in days, he felt real peace. As they waited, Lysa sat beside him on a rock. "Eli, can I tell you something?" "Anything." "When I first heard your voice, I thought you were strange." She smiled lightly. "Your speech was sharp. Your emotions were loud. Your presence felt too big." Eli raised an eyebrow. "Too big?" "Yes." She leaned slightly closer. "But now, that bigness makes me feel safe." Eli's heart raced. He had no idea how to answer her. So he placed his hand over hers gently. She did not pull away. A few minutes later, the rescue ship landed, sending dust spinning into the air. Heron climbed aboard first, muttering about retirement. Eli helped Lysa step inside. As the doors closed behind them, the planet shimmered beneath the sunlight, looking peaceful for the first time in centuries. Lysa held Eli's arm. "Where will we go now?" Eli smiled. "Anywhere. Everywhere. As long as you're with me." She blushed. "Then our story is not over." "No," he said softly. "It's just starting." The ship lifted into the sky, leaving the healed world behind. Eli looked at Lysa, the innocent alien girl who had changed everything. The bond between them pulsed gently, warm and alive. A connection born from danger. Strengthened by trust. Shaped into something powerful. Something unbreakable. Their journey was far from finished, but whatever came next, they would face it together. And the stars were waiting.